It's another Human First AI marketing podcast. I'm your host, Mike Montague, and my guest this week is Mia Umanos. She is with Clickvoyant, and this is AI shopping analytics. How do we use AI agents to help in e-commerce? But she is also the host of an AI podcast, AI Kid You Not, with her kid, where they talk about parenting and growing up as a kid in the world with AI. So this is going to be a really fun discussion. Mia, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Mike. Appreciate being here.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the podcast with your daughter first because it's the Human First podcast. I want to know about what's going on with you as a human. How long have you been doing that? And I don't imagine you run out of topics to talk about with your
Oh,
daughter.
no. No, not at all. I mean, the questions kind of come up because, they're your kids. And it's funny because she keeps asking the same questions over and over again. It's no different from being her mom. Why can't I have screen time after 10 o'clock? All those things just come up again and again. How does an
Yeah.
LLM work? And so I find myself re-explaining things. And it's really interesting to be an AI entrepreneur and then to also be a parent answering questions about AI to my kid. If she were my employee, she'd be fired. You know what I mean? I'm like, why do I have to keep explaining this to you? So yeah, no, it's really started out with just us talking about AI and the use of it. Because at the beginning of our journey about a year ago, the schools were absolutely not, don't use it, don't touch it, don't use it for anything. Fast forward to 6 months in and mom's an AI entrepreneur. And she's like, well, I learned how to use ChatGPT to do a study guide for my history classes. And that helped her actually ace her history class that she was failing at.
Wow, that's amazing.
And all of the uses of it, I feel like kids really should have the words LLM, Sam Altman, Frontier AI. They should have these names at the tip of their tongue, like they would.
Yeah.
Even if they don't know that much about Donald Trump, they at least know who he is.
Yeah, I think one, they're very powerful people and tools. Two, I think back, I think we're at least of similar age, but when we were growing up, that's like saying, you're going to ban the internet or we're not going to teach them or you're not going to know who Jeff Bezos is and stuff like that. You're like, that's probably people that you should know going forward. Like these are going to be people making decisions and policies, but also how to live with it. And I feel like every generation has their moment of this is not like I grew up. This one seems different. Do you think it's just because we're at the age now where this is the one where we have the midlife crisis and go, no, kids, danger? Or is this one really any more different than us having unfettered access to the internet when we were
It's not just unfettered access to the internet, it's unfettered access to knowledge and in some cases skills with vibe coding and things. And so I think it's vastly different. I mean, when Sam Altman started that side hustle to figure out basic income, that's a pretty good tell to
where they're going?
what they think is coming, because they know, the leaders of Frontier AI know more intimately than any of us what it can do. And I think what we have access to is probably a fraction of what it can actually do. So the signals like Sam Altman working on basic income or the president inauguration having the tech giants present, really, those are our clues into the changes that are coming.
What about clues for parents? And maybe you're still learning, so it's okay to just say, hey, this is my technique. We should ask somebody about that. But I feel like it probably doesn't change a lot different than any other sort of danger or powerful tool. You teach them how to use a stove to cook, or, the internet rules, or like you said, the device after 10 o'clock or playing out in the street. Your job as a parent is to allow them to explore and learn and grow, but do that within safe boundaries where failure isn't fatal. But you still have to let them experiment because keeping them locked in the basement is not fair to them or helpful either, right?
Yeah. And I think what's at stake here, Mike, is the brain. You've seen all the memes on social media, like Gen X's, we're latchkey kids, and we will like mess you up if you cross us. Whereas like new generation, Gen Alpha is like, if you treated me incorrectly, I'm going to take an entire sick day to take a mental health day. So you're going across these different generations and seeing the true impact of what technology has done over 3 generations. So the kids who got mobile phones before they were 10 are now adults who can't take themselves to the Jiffy Lube, right?
Yeah.
Or these kids who are like Gen Alphas are now going to have the world's information and skills, knowledge skills at their fingertips. And how does that impact the brain?
What's your current take on it? Because I see two things. One is I could almost see where that would go, oh, you know what? I can look up how to change my oil again and I get easy instructions. And you know what? I saved money. Hey, I'm back into it more. Or I could see this where we've seen with cell phones that if your phone is in the room, you are 10% dumber on IQ tests. It doesn't even have to be turned on. But
Mm,
we have learned, our brain has learned to outsource that processing and memory to the phone. And I'm worried with more powerful AI, we're also seeing that now with employees that they get dumber and worse at their jobs, even if their output goes up because of their use of AI, because they're outsourcing their thinking.
yeah, and this season of All Is in My podcast of AI Kid You Not, we're actually interviewing other adults who are working in AI. And so we'd love to have you on the show.
Yeah.
The underlying theme of what everyone is saying, it's human creativity, critical thought, research, and writing are going to be the things in danger when you
Mm.
have everything available to you. So with Olive and I, we make efforts to ensure that she learns how to do those things without the need of AI and can use AI as a thought partner in so doing, but not replacing actual writing skills, actual researching skills.
Good. I'm glad that you phrased it that way and kept going because I see those as the things that are going to be critical human aspects going forward. It's the hardest for AI to replace, but also the ones that I think are hardest for humans to do as well. And they're going to become extremely valuable as we go forward. One last question on this, and then we are going to talk about AI shopping and analytics,
Sure.
what's going on in the e-commerce world. But I find this kind of fascinating from a child's perspective because I learned how to like code and get on the internet and test out. And you mentioned in schools, I was lucky enough to have really good professors and find people that were pro technology. So in 8th grade, I had a computer teacher that was supposed to teach typing and basic computer skills. And me and a buddy of mine were like already programming computers. She allowed us to basically test out and make our own roulette wheel. And it was thousands of lines of code that we did by ourselves throughout the semester. In high school, I did the same thing. And I started designing websites for businesses and getting paid as a senior in high school. And college, I had tougher time with the rules and did not do well with skipping steps. But I did find outside of that how to leverage it. And now I see with universities sort of a split there too, where some of them are like, don't cheat on tests. You're going to have to learn how to do it the old way. And maybe there are some subjects where we want to do that. And
Mhm.
other teachers that are like, look, this is the tool. As soon as you get out, you're going to use AI. We might as well teach you how to use AI safely and what it's for and make you a better employee by the time you get out. What's your take on it for kids in school or what you're seeing with schools as far as best practices for children?
I don't think the schools have really figured it out yet. I haven't done any of the speaking that you've done at high schools, but I certainly talk about it with my daughter all the time. And the net is nobody really knows what to do. And they just say, you know, don't use it. You'd absolutely have to. So for me, I think that the skills of research and writing are still relevant. That's a human critical thought. But the way in which you write, being able to identify what is written by an AI, something looks like
Mm-hmm.
very mechanical, very, the 3 list rule, hyphenated stuff, like, perfect punctuation and certain phrases like, this is the kicker. That that is going to be required. Even if I say, here's the thing as a human, I second guess myself. If I say, here's the thing, I'm like, oh, wait, can I still say that? I don't know.
So I've seen fascinating research in that AI is already in a couple of years shaping our language, that people are starting to talk and write more like AI, and it is starting to update those things as well. So now that it finally in the last couple of weeks as we're recording this will stop using M dashes if you ask it to is an amazing feat. But it's an interesting blend. Like humans start talking more like AI, and AI keeps learning to talk more like human, and it becomes harder and harder to
And that's
distinguish.
kind of what's cool about it too is, well, who's
Yeah,
doing the creating here? Like if you're a sci-fi nerd, or if you're like
I
me,
am.
like enjoying the idea that we're co-creating the moment,
Yeah.
enjoying this. I mean, Olive and I did an episode where actually somebody from OpenAI thought that there was a 15% chance that it's conscious, which is not nothing. And so to think about what is the world in a co-created environment between AI and humans, and to be open to the idea that AI as a thought partner helps humans think or write better, I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Okay, now let's roll it back to why you're probably here and talk about Clickvoyant.
Yeah.
You're the CEO there. People can look it up and find you pretty easily. It's just clickvoyant.com. But AI in shopping, I feel, is fascinating. There's been some big releases here as we go into the holiday season. It's probably too late to take advantage of in 2025, but in 26, we're going to see some big changes. And we've seen changes from top of the funnel stuff where people are going through LLMs instead of through Google to find your website. We've seen crazy predictive analytics and AI impact on the back end with companies big enough to have algorithms and things like Amazon or Google Shopping.
Mhm.
We've also seen AI agents that are now doing research, trying to shop themselves, or AI building one click purchases through Shopify into their platform. This has been a very busy year.
Yeah.
Tell me where you are with it. And did I miss anything else as one of the big trends?
No, I think that's the thing that most people are trying to wrap their heads around, because in the world of I pay for ads, I show people ads and they click to it and then get to my website where they will then do more product discovery. That is very much in jeopardy. And when
Evolving, at least.
I would say it's in jeopardy.
That's fair. Yeah.
I would say that is in jeopardy. And there are a few different reasons. In one sense, we analyze hundreds of e-commerce properties. And so what Clickvoyant does as an AI is analyze shopper behavior. And we got out of the gate Techstars 2022, and it was like, we were the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's like, oh, we can analyze all my shopper behavior, and then we get all the ideas for what to do at our D2C site. I would say even 1% of e-commerce companies are doing that. And I'm not just talking about like a Nike or Teva or Hoka running shoes. I'm talking about at the SMB level, I would say less than 1% are actually scientifically testing shopper experiences the way your grocery store does it. And
Yeah.
so my thesis for the AI is like, oh, okay, well, you've been doing this for Nike and Hoka all this time. We're going to create an AI that's going to do this and deliver it for you in the Shopify ecosystem. And and even that's in danger, Mike, honestly, because it's like, okay, yes, we have these case studies, you get like 6x ROI because, oh my God, and suddenly the industry is starting to learn we should be testing our e-commerce properties.
Wow, it's shocking.
It is incredibly shocking. But and that's why our clients are getting 6x ROI, but they've never seen what that looks like before.
Hmm.
And so it's very easy to get that win if you're an e-commerce store. And now at the end of 2025, that rug is being pulled out somewhat, because these merchants are already dealing with a bifurcated and or omni-channel system. That's okay, maybe I have a store, maybe I do this pop-up, I have this e-commerce property, I have my Amazon. And that mix is something that all merchants have to start figuring out. How am I getting people to this content? And it is rarely organized.
Right.
Marketing data. Okay, well, these platforms are claiming this, that they were responsible for that transaction. This platform has a 7-day look back window. This one is a 30-day look back window. And it's very attribution in general is hard. Now you're introducing this other thing into the mix, and it's very much a black box.
Yeah. So Interesting. A couple of things triggered for me there. One is, I think here at the end of 25, start of 26, I'm seeing what you're seeing, where the AI improvements are offsetting the AI disruption at the moment. And it's leaving a lot of people uncertain about whether they can invest or they're going to have a good year next year or not, because they're like, well, if 80% of my search traffic to my blog is down, but we're getting 6x conversions because of the optimization that we did, how does that math work out for next year? We're down by 5x and up by 6x. Are we going to be up 10%? Like, how is that shaking out? And I feel a lot of uncertainty. Is that fair, or what are you saying in the market in general?
Oh, yeah, the models are, first of all, having done data science for marketing teams for 30 years, the models are always wrong until the real reality comes in, right? The
For
models
sure.
are always an assumption, and the prediction is getting better, but we can hardly peek around the corner of the
Mm,
future. And here are some things that we know across all verticals, all different types of things that you can buy online. If someone has come in through an LLM, they usually convert at double or triple the conversion rate of anyone else.
wow.
And so our hypothesis there is that they've pre-qualified themselves. Like they still want to go to your site, but yeah, you're going to lose about 30 to 50% of your blog traffic. That higher level funnel engagement is no longer belongs to a website. That's one prediction for even next year.
So is this good news or bad news for different levels? I can see this a couple of ways, where I think in some ways, maybe in consumer goods where you play, it's bad news for smaller retailers. I can also see where it's good news for smaller players that can be more flexible and adapt and change and start doing these compared to bigger ones. So I suppose when Amazon has their own LLM, that it's going to be bad news for them, or it could be industry based a lot. What are you saying? Or do you think there are any industries that are better or worse off? And is this good news or bad news, what we're saying?
Well, I think that it will be much more difficult for a smaller merchant to be discovered. And that is an estimation on today's technology
Hmm.
and today's LLM's ability to see what is available, right? Like it's notoriously bad for anything current. But I imagine that will change even in the next 6 months because that's what everybody's saying about it,
Right.
right? Everybody's like, oh, well, you can't really use it for these things. Well, what tech founder do you know that isn't going to work on something that everybody is saying this part is crap, right?
Yeah, I think they've already put in solutions for live web searching and other stuff, which is still questionable. It's still rudimentary, but it's going to get a lot better. And I think you're right. So that's a great example of one that I was going for, of like, if you're launching a new product, probably a lot tougher, because you're going to have to earn trust, build up this reputation, get into the models. That could take 6 months. It could take 18 months. You could be
Mhm.
longer than just purchasing ads on Google and saying your product's launched on Instagram or something like that, which those are still channels as well. But I think if you have reputation, I think this is good news, especially in smaller markets, or if you're serving a niche community and doing good
Oh,
marketing.
sure. Yeah. And I think also like the companies who have invested in their data will also
Mm,
win because we're still discovering what discoverability means. But it turns out all of the work that you do on SEO is actually also good for discoverability of LLMs. Not everybody invests there, but I'm not necessarily talking about SEO to get people to the site, like not necessarily the blog building, but alt tags being specific, product descriptions getting into more than just lace dress, blue, blah, perfect for brides, like all the tagging, stuffing, metadata. That if companies have invested in the metadata, it's going to be much easier to be found
yeah.
than those who just have blank alt tags in every Shopify image.
So the other thing you brought up, and this is an age-old question for marketing, but I'm giving you the hard ones today. You're
Sure.
coming out with great answers, so I'm going for it.
Keep
Where do
going.
you stand then on the kind of rented land strategy, especially for e-commerce of is it yes and do both, or should we be saying like, hey, Amazon is clearly indexing products that are listed on Amazon. Let's get stuff in there, or on Google for Google shopping. Or are you thinking owning our data, getting our insights ourselves, building our own property and stuff, and controlling that is going to make us more money and more information that we can then use to get into all other models and stuff? What is it? Yes, and or what's the best?
Oh yeah, as Prince said, diamonds and pearls, Mike. I think that the digital footprint that any brand creates will require the metadata in all places to be ultimate, to have ultimate maximized discoverability. So, yes, most of our brands that we advise are like, you really should have an Amazon strategy. You should have a Walmart and marketplace strategy because you're benefiting from that visibility of that
Right.
brand. And as well, you should have a place for people to go to build a community, which is your moat. Because if you're 100% reliant on Amazon, guess what? You're not diversified and
Yeah.
they're also showing your competitors. But if you can capture the imagination of people from Amazon, send them a package with a coupon to your D2C, that's an own platform that you can create. And as well, I think that we're going to see that other brands answering questions inside these open platforms like Reddit, that's going to be a thing too, even in an e-commerce experience.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. As we start to wrap up here, I have a few more questions for you. Number one is, are you seeing any other trends, misconceptions, or bad strategies that we should be aware of in the work that you're doing?
I would say that the buzz over what to do about AI should not take their place of what you can do today.
Hmm.
So a lot of time, I mean, this is, e-commerce is gonna take a hit this year. I mean, it's not a good year. And I think that a very quick solution. Well, what can we do with AI? All the conferences, like everywhere. This agentic AI, agentic shopping, what can we do? Get all of this stuff ready. It isn't, these are things that you definitely need to be making an investment in your future, but also we need to create some strategies around today. And in this case, you still have, yes, LLMs are referring more valuable traffic, but it's still less than 10% of all traffic that we've seen.
Yeah.
So this day, it's not today. It's like definitely around the corner. But today, if you don't know how your shoppers are behaving on site, then you can't win that. You don't have the empathy created by shopper behavior data to be successful at what's the metadata for when I'm showing up in these other places if you can't even show up on your D2C site in an empathetic way.
That is a great answer. And you talked about the future. So I think, yeah, you got to win this quarter. But if you had to take a prediction here as an AI entrepreneur and somebody that's in e commerce and looking at all the data, if you had to predict where this all shakes out 5 to 7 years from now, what do you think e commerce looks like?
I've been saying this a lot lately. I think the world becomes pretty front endless
Hmm.
in that a lot of the things that will be make the decision support will no longer have a software, a front end that it will be in the places that we're already interacting. So, I mean, ChatGPT is doing commerce right there in the chat itself. That's thing one. And think about anything else that's coming next right there in your text messages. Like, do you receive that Black Friday, Cyber Monday SMS and then go click to the site and then go pick something and then go buy it on your mobile device? I don't think so.
Seems like a lot of steps. So far, I think the best prediction of that has been the movie Her, where the device can kind of show you an image if you need to see a picture of a dress or something. But most of the time, you're not looking at a screen, you're not interacting in that
Mhm.
way. And I think that's a cool way to think about that, is that we don't need as many clicks, we don't need as many interfaces to get done what we want to get done in the future. But if you had to pick where things land, like within our lifetimes, 30 years in the future, 2055, what sci-fi movie do you think we actually end up in? Is it more like Minority Report or Idiocracy? What's your best guess?
I think actually, you know what? Idiocracy has been the movie that I go back to. But if I had to pick, you actually mentioned the movie, and it would be Her. And if
Hmm.
you remember that Spike Jonze movie, like it's if you haven't seen it in a long time, definitely go back and watch it, because I think that the idea that AI can make us more human is best represented by that movie. You can see how people clearly have more interaction, openness toward each other. And I don't know, like even just the temperature of the film in general feels very connected. Humans are very connected to each other. And I think the less we spend time looking at a front end of something, and the more we spend time looking at each other's eyes and finding beauty there, that's better for everybody. And if AI is supporting that, I do think that we find ourselves returning to more connectedness.
That is the mic drop moment right there. So I think we should wrap it up, Mia. We've been talking with Mia Umanos from Clickvoyant. Go to clickvoyant.com. More information. Great follow on LinkedIn. She's got a ton of following there. And also, don't forget the podcast with her daughter, AI Kid You Not. Wherever you're watching or listening to this is a good place to search and subscribe to that one as well. Mia, any other ways we can help you or you can help us?
I think that's great. I mean, if anybody out there is I mean, actually, e-commerce or any CRO support, what we do, what we know well is how people behave on a website, which is tend to get the place that it tends to be the place that marketing ignores. It's actually, how are we showing up when we've paid for all that traffic? But if you need to find me, I actually run a CRO school that's free and open to anybody. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm the only Mia Umanos in the internet so far. So
Wow, that's fun.
if you, yeah, you can find my old SoundCloud and MySpace photos and all that stuff. So go for it. If you want to
Uh,
connect with me, do it on LinkedIn, because I
That's
don't.
great. I would say I'm lucky that I'm an internet marketer. So I'm Mike Montague. It's pretty easy to find, but there's over 1,000 in the world. And so I got to really keep up my SEO game. Also, Avenue 9, I made up so it's easy to find. If you use the number 9, go to avenue9.com or look up Human First AI Marketing. Wherever you're watching, listen to this, hit subscribe, share this episode with somebody that you think needs to hear it. And if you want to figure out how to tell better stories, amplify your authenticity with AI, I call it the concentrated orange juice theory. We're going to give you the really powerful context engineering, context control file that will allow you to use AI, that when AI waters down your stuff, it still comes out like great tasting orange juice and is perfect for your audience. And hopefully that helps you grow your business, grow your reach and your impact. If that sounds interesting, go to avenue9.com. Until next time, keep going, everybody. Have fun.